Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to round 4 of the FSR Thrustmaster World Championship. We are here in Bahrain for a very special Grand Prix. As I said, the Bahrain Grand Prix and Q1 is going to start right about now. Jones, as always, does the cameras for us, and today, as always as well, I am joined by Chris de Jong. Chris, warm welcome to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, what a nice day it has been. Q1 has started and the pack is making its way up to the order before the last corner of this track. It's all about here. Look at them race! Like I'm going first. I'm going in front of you. I want to have the best spot here. So tensions being high, prides are of the stakes for the prides are high as well, and I just hope we are going to see a fantastic race. And well, that doesn't necessarily mean a twister domination. Maybe a fight amongst the twisters would be preferable, isn't it?
Well, we have seen Twister doing very well, and yesterday as well with Dan. Yeah, maybe, but much to create some kind of excitement, that's for sure. But yesterday we saw Daniel Kiss in Ace again dominating, so that doesn't give us a good prospect for this race too, does it? But who knows? I mean, it's a 3-week break, you know, teams have time to catch up. We'll see who has done their homework well.
Yeah, but we can't count Twister out, that's for sure. I spoke with Mohammed Patel earlier on, and you're the best ever. No, he didn't say that. He said you're the worst ever. And by the way, Peter is gonna win this race. So yeah, well, if Mohammed Patel says that Peter is going to win the race, we are definitely looking out for that. For the moment though, it's looking who will make Q2 and who won't. Obviously this famous or infamous dance of Q1 grid sliding will begin, and I'm curious who will set the first fastest banker lap.
Yeah, we have seen Jens Stadinov setting a 130.0 so far. I expect people to go into the 29s. High 29s are predicted. Maybe for Q2 as well. That would be, I think, a very strong lap for Q2 as well. So far, it is Carlos Martin who is out on track at the moment. And Chris, can you actually give us an update on his shoulder? Because
it's still broken. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if it's too personal, but he told me before the race, like he has to, you know, do a checkup in a week's time, and then the decision is made if it will be a surgery. But if it is going to be a surgery, then he's out of the running for 6 months. So yeah, Andre's wet dream come true. But unfortunately for us, it's not so much a wet dream. Yeah, it's still broken. He's still driving some corners with one hand. So pretty much thumbs up for Carlos for trying and being here.
Yeah, that's great bravery from him. He's actually doing okay-ish on this lap. He exits the final corner to set the first benchmark here in Q1 with 7 more minutes to go. And he does a 130.3, not bad for an opening lap.
Yeah, indeed, well said. Norbert Leitner not getting that, 30.8 for him. Blair Disley, the old veteran, 31.0. That's what I did. Come on, you can do better than me. Peter though, 30.1, but Mohammed Patel instant 9.9. So first 29 is a fact, and well, we did see some 29s in Ace. You in Pro weren't able to, I believe, and
Nope.
well, it's not a surprise. We are seeing it here if we're seeing it in Ace as well. So really the best of the best that online racing or that rFactor 2 at least has to offer. And momentarily it's Mohammed Patel leading the sheets, and it's a 29.9 for him. Top 10 is shouted out by Norbert Leitner with a 30.8. So definitely definitely not hard to get 30.8 for these guys. I'm sure that will not stay the same.
Yeah, one person who could throw Daniel Brewer out of that 10th spot, as he did, is Jim Paris. He comes through the final corner, and this should be a pretty good lap from Jim Paris. Low 30, high 29 perhaps. It's a low 30 indeed. A 30.1 puts him in 3rd place, and now it's John Eric Saxon with a 0.5 in the cutoff point. So far the drivers are again out on the grid. Most drivers obviously on their out lap start to make up again for that hot lap. One person who hasn't set lap time yet is Dian Kostadinov. He is driving right now on track though.
I get your joke though, hot lap, because of the Bahrain desert circuit,
Yeah.
right? A hot lap.
Well, it is very, very demanding for a driver to drive here, but it's obviously virtual. It's nothing like real life, luckily.
No, definitely.
You can simulate it if you really
are a
if you're really sim racer.
Yeah, or just a pure geek. Definitely. I mean, just putting the heater up to 30 Celsius, and yeah, you will be all right. No, but definitely. Then in the real Formula One, Singapore is the main ball breaker, right? 2 hours of full humidity.
Yeah. Yeah, Singapore is also a very long race, so that is very demanding.
It's epic. By the way, so a fact for, and then we stop with the real Formula One talk. Of a few years ago, Alonso, his water bottle broke during the last 20 laps of Australia, and he actually had to go for a hospital checkup. Nothing severe, but with signs of dehydration. Just 20 laps not being able to drink just shows you, what it takes in real life. Obviously, we have the comfort of sitting in our chairs and not feeling any wobbles, whatever. At the moment, it's still Mohammed Patel doing the best job possible with a 29.9, and still with 7 or 6 minutes gone, he's still the only guy in the 29s. That's a little bit surprising for me, actually.
Yeah, maybe it is a bit surprising. Kuba Brzezinski is currently purple in the first sector by of second. He is currently in that cutoff point, but it does look pretty close, Chris, with the top 10 being separated by half a second right now, and Conti goes up to 10th now. Yeah,
Bigazzi and Blair Disley actually share the same time, so that's even closer than you get for with the 1,000th of difference in China. But yeah, it's remarkably close. If Kuba manages to increase 2 tenths, he will be instantly up to 5th place, and will bring him home for the moment. Bigazzi is improving quite dramatically. Cuba is doing a terrific lap, putting him in 2nd place, so no harm done there. Carlos managing to get P10 at the moment. So Blair Disley, who 10 seconds ago was still into the top 10, is now pushed out of there. So a lot of these drivers still have to give it their best.
Yeah, one driver who certainly needs to give it his best is Daniel Brewer, currently in 13th place. Currently looking not too bad, but at the same time the field is so close that if he makes a mistake in final sector, he is not going to improve. He's looking for a 0.3 here, and he doesn't find that 0.3. He gets a 0.4. He could go back to the pit lane and do another lap quickly though, but currently Daniel Brewer struggling and outside of the top 10, but times are close to each other.
Yeah, they are. It's good prospect for the race. Jim Paris is 29.8, showing how it's done Greek style. I'm sure Paschalis Gergis will agree with me on that. But yeah, it seems to be a Twister 1-2 at the moment. I mean, come on, any other team, do it! I mean, Kuba Brzezinski is definitely trying. I mean, definitely a good prospect for the future. Good having him here. I mean, last year around he did pro, I believe. He did a fantastic job as well, but I mean, he's just WC level, and he has proven it already, in my opinion, for this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's certainly a talent to look out for in the future. Kuba Brzezinski, the Polish driver, is he's great, and also up there with the Twisters at the moment. So as I said, that's to look out for.
Way faster than our talent in our at the moment in pro, called Jeroen Kweekel. Do you know him? No. Yeah, so some random guy. I don't know. Keeps getting lucky. No, 4 races in a row. It's just
Daniel Kiss 2.0.
Yeah, well, you're on thin ice. Daniel Kiss actually won a WC race. I mean, you can't say that obviously because you crashed during that race. Sorry to put salt in your wound.
Daniel Kiss overtook me at the start, so let's not make the comparison Kweekel Chris Kiss.
Sorry to be stepping on your balls, but just pure fun pun.
If you're realistic, then I don't care.
Nah, it's all okay. At the moment though, Carlos Martin still holding that P10 spot tight and firmly. Although I do say firmly, 50,000 separating Blair Disley and him, and behind that it's not that much more. So Disley now crossing the line. I don't know if it's a banker lap or it's an out lap, I think.
It's a hot lap. I don't think he's going to improve though. He does indeed not improve.
Well, okay.
Blair Disley is out.
That's really unfortunate for him. Daniel Brewer, the next up, I mean in P12 that is, Jon-Erik Saxon is still out there, Vladimir Morelli still out there, who is going to cross the start-finish line. And will he do it? Oh, he will. Oh no, he's done, I think. He's done.
That's my fault.
So, no problem. Daniel Brewer and Jon-Erik Saxon, the only guys who realistically can do it. I mean, the other guys are even in the 31s. Danny van der Niet, really disappointing me, Danny. I'm faster than you again. I mean, come on. But yeah, Jon-Erik Saxon going on about his business, and Daniel Brewer still in sector 2.
Peter Broek in the meantime is very quick, but obviously we're looking at Jon-Erik Saxon here coming through the second sector, and it goes wide in turn 13. That's such a critical corner coming your race day as well for your front left aware. Nonetheless, he is on for a good lap though, so it depends on this final corner as well. You have seen turn 13 which didn't go too well. You don't want to go over the curbs. It can slow you down quite a bit. Final corner looked stable though for Saxon. Opens up to the DRS, but is it enough? Just about not. And Daniel Brewer next up as well. He is going to improve probably. No, he does not. So poor final sectors here from especially Jon-Erik Saxon losing a bit in that final sector, not able to go through.
I'm telling you who didn't do a poor lap. You know who it is? Our favorite Australian person from down under. It's Johnny Simon. I mean, 29.905. Just 8/10 thousandths of a second shy of Jim Paris's, splitting the twisters. But, you know, he's at second, something to be worried about.
Yeah, but let's also not forget that when you look at the timesheet, it is extremely close. We see 5 drivers in the 29.9s more or less, as Paris also more or less said a 0.9, and that is great to see. And then for Q2, it only creates more pressure right now for a driver, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, from P1 to P7, 1/10 is separating them. Where Bugatti did a fantastic lap and it put him P2. At the end of the session, he's P7. I mean, just another sign of you're dealing with the best of the best. Although the best isn't here because he's chilling in front of his screen, Bono House, just seeing how the others catch on and thinking I could have got him, but who would blame him differently? Jim Paris is now pace setter in Q1, which means he will be the last guy out in this session, and Carlos Martin will be the first, and he's already out on track. Does have his soft compounds on. I mean, you have to start the race on the media of on whatever compound you set him on. Might be strategical to say, okay, I'm gonna start on mediums, whatever. But he's gonna try full hands down to Q2 with his broken arm. I mean, full hands down. What a choice of words.
Yeah, that's the perfect choice of words. Obviously, driving with that broken arm, we have mentioned it before. You've got to have a lot of respect for that, and hopefully, when he has his checkup. Things or the results from that will not be bad for him, and hopefully we can enjoy his driving for a long time here in FSR. For now he is on his outlap, obviously trying to warm up his tires, swerving across the track a little bit there down the straight, heading down into turn 11. This is now some corners on this track are really crucial. One of them are corners 9 and 10, you know, those double left-handers down through turn 9, and in order to get turn 10 as best as possible, those are crucial for your front left. Make sure you do not lock up. Then the corner you just went through is turn 13, another crucial corner. Then the final corner here, hard to get on the power here. The track dips away from you a bit on the apex, and then you climb up on it slightly as Carlos starts his lap here.
Yeah, and if you get it wrong, the last corner, you will find yourself on the curb and you will lose a lot of time on the straight. However, Carlos Martin did not do that, and he's going on for a flyer. Will he get his braking point correctly? He will. He carries the momentum into the corner. This is looking nice, and especially this corner, turn number 3, you have to conserve your momentum because there's a relatively long straight in front of you, and you don't want to make a mistake there. Carlos doing a good job into keeping it steady. His first sector time 29.247, so definitely similar to what you did in Ace. And well, let's see what he will do the remainder of this lap.
Coming through turns 9 and 10 and slow the car down. This is where we talked about crucial. He deep. Then you get some oversteer on the exit. The DRS will be wide open to DRS zones around this track here. As Carlos Martin heads down into turn 11. Watch this. Carrying a lot of speed through the corner down to gear 3. 150 kph on the apex. And then again accelerates flat out through turn 12. Easily flat out. Then you prepare yourself for turn 13. Fine. Or the second sector time is a 0.5. 38.548. Which is decent. Looking quite good for Carlos Martin so far. And one more corner to go.
Yeah, he's making good use of the maximum amount of the track, and he doesn't cut, not cut the track, but he like this. He runs completely onto the limit of the tarmac, and it brings him a 30.304. Not really satisfied with that, looking at his steering wheel reaction, but there we go. We can't make anything more of it, and he obviously had his chance. Who is about to have his chance is an Italian guy named Marco Conti, and if he finds his sweet braking spot at turn 1, he isn't. He's sliding all through, or maybe it's just to get more momentum out of this corner, but that definitely looked a bit out of shape.
Yeah, he did carry a lot of speed though in turn 1. I don't think that it would cost him too much time. It's actually possible to go a little bit. He gets some oversteer though on the exit of turn 4. That cost him time. 29.2. So quite similar to Carlos Martin then, coming through turn 8 now. Slow the car down, second gear, and hard on the power again.
Yeah, we can't count out this Italian. Definitely, Marco Conti definitely a name into online racing. And if this is the first time you've heard of him, I mean, not shame on you, but you're definitely in for a show. Let's see what he can do in this corner.
Turn 11 again, slowing the car down, third gear. Bit wide on the exit. Didn't look as tidy as Carlos Martin, for example. But who knows, it could be quick. 38.6, lost a 10th to Carlos Martin there. But Carlos Martin lost some time in the final sector. He could make it up in the final sector here with one more corner to go. His turn 13 didn't look too bad. Well,
let's see if he nails this one. He will certainly have a good prospect at provisional pole position. He didn't lose the car there. Reasonable job. Let's see what it gives him. It's a 30.352. Do it with 50,000 shy, and well, still a reasonable lap for him. And now it's Dion Kostadinov, team boss of the Aventa SimRacing team, and let's see what he can do.
Yes, Dion Kostadinov on his lap, then he reaches 324 kph as he slows the car down for turn 1. Big braking zone here. Definitely an overtaking opportunity coming race day. Gets it all slowed down nicely for turn 2. Hard on the power, or sorry, turn 1. Hard on the power for turn 2 and turn 3. And heading down to turn 4 right now. Pick your braking marker right after the one on the meat board. Go all the way down to second. Now find the traction, which is so hard. He finds the traction though, runs all over the curb. First sector time, a 0.2 as well.
And definitely, but eager to go onto the throttle. And well, with this circuit, it's all about braking spots. There's so much time you can lose. Definitely in this, in these two corners, 9 and 10. I mean, so easy to let the car slide, get catched out over the curb, but none of that for Dion Kostadinov. Opening that DRS, and this is looking promising for him.
Yeah, it was definitely purple in the first sector, only by a few hundreds, obviously. But it is something.
It is purple.
Slow the car down. Exactly, it is purple. Hard on the power. Let's see what his second sector time is. He needs speed 38.5. Here we go. He exactly gets a 38.5. It's a little bit faster again than Carlos Martin, only by a few hundreds, but we know that Carlos Martin lost about 1.5 tenths in his final sector. Dion Kostadinov, one more corner to go. Slow it down, hitting the apex there, but it runs him out wide, all over the curb. Oh, that's it for Dion Kostadinov.
Yeah, there we go, and he knows it. Well, unfortunate for him. That's what we talked about last lap around. If you get that last corner and you get over the curves, it's basically lap done, you're out. And unfortunately for him, but he did manage to he didn't hold anything back. He completely went for it, and for that you can only have respect, in my opinion. Now it's Francesco Sbigazzi, his turn, and takes a different line to turn 1 than his team boss did, but nevertheless keeps it together, and let's see what he can do.
One more corner to go in his first sector here for Francesco Sbigazzi, slowing the car down again. Oh, that was right on the limit, wasn't it, there on the braking. Hard on the power too. Great first sector so far, I think. It's 0.1, slightly about a tenth quicker than Carlos Martin at the moment. Flying through turns 6 and 7. Slow the car down for turn 8, again hard on the power.
Nice traction.
Again, yeah, indeed, nice traction. Turns 9 and 10, and let's see if it looks stable. A little bit of a lock up, but that it looks quick. It looks quick.
Indeed, it looks quick indeed. And this next corner, turn 11, this is really where we see two different lines. People who extend completely onto the outside, like Bigassi does here, and I guarantee you that we see other drivers that want to take the shorter line by braking a little bit earlier, but getting onto the power sooner as well. Bigassi keeping it together, and he's definitely looking for a flyer here, but will he do it? One more corner to go. And he isn't screwing up anything. A little bit twitchy on the steering wheel, but early on the power, so it won't hurt him much. It will bring him provisional pole position, 30.282. So a good job from him driving with his Q2 set, obviously. And well, really nice job. Now it's time for our favorite Polish guy. Is it our favorite Polish guy? Well, next to Robert Kubica then. It's Kuba Brzezinski aiming for spots right here, and it's also crucial to start that lap. If you mess up this first sections of corners, then you're instantly heading off to the remainder of your lap with a bad feeling stuck in your throat, you know. But Cuba is nailing it at the moment, and I'm really curious what his first sector time will be. It's a 29.2, so very similar to what we see to most of them. Good early on the power, doesn't have any problems finding his exit point there. And now turn 10 slides a little bit, but keeps it remarkably good together. Cuba here, definitely showing what he's worth. Now here we go, turn 11. Will he take the similar line? No, he will short shift and try to get on the power rather early. Here we go, what will his sector 2 time be? 38.388. So it's now do or die for Cuba. Definitely a driver who is able to turn some heads, and definitely someone to look out for in the future. For now though, it's all or nothing for him. Will he get provisional pole position or won't he? He will! 29.960. What a stunner. What a stunner indeed, and look at the joy he's carrying into his steering wheel. Definitely something to be satisfied about. 29.960, and remember with Q2 settings, it is, you know, his brake duct will definitely be some steps higher than it was in Q1. So Jeroen Simulsic now. Definitely easy onto the throttle. Keeps it together though. Hard braking for turn 4 and slides a little bit through though, but keeps it together by getting earlier on the power. And controlled to the fast right and left hander here. All the way to the outside of the track. Does lose a little bit there. Going over that curb. Now he has to keep it together here. And indeed he does so. Nice and tidy early on the power. DRS wide open. Jeroen Simulsic, definitely a veteran in FSR for these past few years. Didn't really have the breakthrough he was looking for, but definitely still trying. And it shows. Looking at his sector times, he is going for a nice lap. I don't know if he's gonna challenge Cuba though, but he is giving it everything he's got. He should be happy fitting right behind Cuba for the moment, and I think that's definitely something he will sign for. Let's see though. Jeroen Simulsic brings his car to P2 indeed, 30.044, and that's a nice lap. That's a really nice lap. I don't know what happened to Jeroen Kweekel, but I guess he's off for a moment. who isn't off his computer is Peter Briljak, because he's traveling down the miles an hour, finds that braking spot, and this is really a lap I've been looking forward to, because Mohammed Patel said earlier that he favored Peter Briljak for the win today, and well, qualify is definitely a big step into that. If you're starting outside of the top 5, as we all know, it's going to be tricky, definitely with these guys here. 29.171 for Briljak though, keeping it really keeping it really together here. And look at that momentum he's carrying to the corners. It's noticeably different compared to the other drives. Twister just in a different league, that's what I want to say, but it's going flawless for him.
Look at the turn in he had in turn 10. That was amazing. He got the car into the corner brilliantly.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean, the
look at the
momentum
turn in
he's
again.
carrying. Yeah. I mean, it's on rails, like I said with Mohammed earlier. Oh my god, this is just insane.
Let's have a look at that translate into a good sector time. It does indeed, 38.3. Slightly, well, I think that's the exact same time Kuba did as well. It's all about his final sector now though. Going to go for Peter Briljak. Here he goes, hard on the power, then again, great turn in there. Gets on the power, leaves some room on the exit. And then the DRS will be right to the line, and he takes pole position with a 0.8.
Yeah, provisional pole position for now. He still has some teammates to go in front of him. And of course Johnny Simon, let's not count him out. He is second last to go out on track. But for the moment it's Mohammed Patel, his direct teammate. Obviously driving in the same colored car. But yeah, this is really interesting. 29.8 into Q2. Mohammed Patel, or he locked up severely, or this is intent to be, we will know in a minute's time. But that looked a little bit out of shape in my perspective. I hope I'm wrong for his sake.
I think you were right though, Chris. That looked like a very big lockup coming through turn 4. And again, look at the front end grip. Twister doesn't run as much top speed as the competitors, but they certainly have the grip. Again, look at that, he goes too much over the curb though. This is gonna cost him. I think there was too much turn in even, wasn't it?
It definitely was too much. And although that was a little bit of a mistake, it can happen. I mean, this is really the first mistake we have seen from Mohammed in Q2 in this season, in my opinion.
That was flawless.
But yeah, that was flawless indeed. Locking up as you should be with your left front tire into the qualification session there. That's how you should do that. I mean, if he's gonna take provisional pole position after that fail, that cost him maybe 0.4 or 0.5 even. I'm gonna eat my keyboard, man. Fuck it.
38.7 for Patel in the middle sector. Certainly lost indeed, as you said, about 4.3/10. One more corner to go for Mohammed Patel though. Where will it put him? It is all damage limitation right now. Can he put himself in front of Bigazzi, Carlos Martin perhaps? Let's have a look what he can do.
Keyboard eating incoming.
No, Chris.
Oh no. Oh. That's unfortunate for him though. 30.4, but he definitely knows where the time has been lost. So yeah, unlucky for him. Johnny Simon now going out on track, the second last car. So Peter Briljak is secured of a top 3 starting place, nailing that entry. Johnny Simon. Ooh, not nailing that though. That cost him a lot of time. Yeah, definitely some oversteer on the exit. How will it translate into his sector 1 time? He's going.
Sorry to interrupt you, but it looks like he also has great bite on his front end. It's a bit less top speed, but he has good bite. Although runs wide there a little bit. 0.3 first sector.
Well, it's not. How do you say? 29.3. It's not. You know, completely. He's not completely out of the running for pole position, but he really has to step up his game into sector 2, and he knows it. He's taking much more risk, and it did cost him a little bit in that hairpin 3 corners ago. However, here he goes. Will he be able to climb back into contention? Oh, nice, making use of the road there, using every little bit of space there is. And if you want to see an Australian looking determined, here you have him. Johnny Simon, and look at that! Look at that! I would definitely give it to him, but I mean, he has to do it himself.
Almost eating the inside curb there on turn 13. Yeah. Look at the speed he took into the corner.
It cost him though.
Great bravery. It indeed cost him. That's for sure. The air is wide open. It will be a 1:30.0.
Yeah, well, definitely. definitely made a little bit up for that. I mean, he could even lose more than that. So definitely not a bad time after that mistake. Like we saw with Patel, he made a huger mistake and he's on 30.4. So it could be way worse for him. He's certain that he will start P5, maybe P4. But in order for Jim to not do a 30.0, in my aspect, that would mean a big mistake. Because Peter Jim Paresis is up there with Peter Briljak and Brzezinski.
Yeah, so let's see what Jim Paresis can do then. He needs to beat at 29.8. Remember, this is the final car we have in this Q2 session. The first sector time is about to come up. It's a 0.1, again also runs really deep in turn 6. And slows the car down. Look at the downshift there, downshifting really quickly. He goes to first gear, then on second for the exit. But it does look determined as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. And will it translate into a good sector 2 time? The half of the sector 2 is still in front of us, and I'm really curious how he will take this next corner. They're a little bit cautious though. A little bit cautious.
Too much off the curb. I think that compromises his exit a little bit. Let's have a look. 38.4, however. That is a few hundreds down.
0.3 though.
And he made a mistake on turn 13. I think that cost him the pole position. If it is not going to be pole position. One more corner to go, however. He was a few hundreds down, bear in mind. For 10 at the end of the second sector on Peter Briljak. Here goes Jim Paresis opening up the ears for the sprint to the line. And it's a 1:30.1.
Well, there we go. Johnny Simon did get fourth spot. All thanks to a mistake of Jim Paresis. And Mohammed Patel slacking off a little bit there. Won't be satisfied with that, I'm sure. But, you know, we're all humans. We make mistakes. Definitely, if your name is Chris de Jong, never mind about that. I'm not opening that book. Not gonna give Andre a field day here today. But now Peter Briljak pole position, brilliantly stunning lap from him with a 29.879, good enough for pole position in Formula SimRacing WC, and that's a time to, I mean, basically chew your nails off. I mean, it's so quick. And Cuba can be so happy as well with a 29.9. Although I do think Cuba is rather disappointed as well, because he's a winner all the way, and he wants to do better next time around, and this will give him a nice motivational job to get that extra 10th, because trust me if I say that these drivers have been test racing at least 2 or 3 full race distances and have been practicing for hours and hours, and to come each other, that just proves of the level of competition we're heading here. We're having so many famous names into our lineup, and it's just remarkable to see them also close to each other.
Absolutely, I really agree with you, but on pole, but behind that it's not a twist, you know, it's not a twister 1-2. Go Speed is in there, Cuba is in there from the origin front row racing, so it seems like a very interesting race.
It will definitely create some hype for the race. For now though, it's time for a brilliant advert from our sponsor Thrustmaster, and stick with us. See you in 2 minutes. And thanks for sticking with us. And we got 7.5 minutes remaining in warm-up. So you're just back in time to see who will have the best race pace. Trust me if I say that these drivers will give it everything they've got in warm-up to have that exact same feeling that everything is the same as in your practice runs. And we'll definitely give a sign off about who is a little bit slower than in qualifying, who's a little bit quicker.
Yeah, so 10 minutes in this warm-up session, currently 6 minutes and 48 seconds to go then, as the first times are popping up on the timesheet. Godek straight away goes in first with a 35.1, but obviously plenty of drivers still need to set their lap time. And what is important as a driver here in this warm-up, as already mentioned, make sure that everything is the same as in the practice. Obviously, also try to find your pit box, because that's quite important for the race, that you don't miss your pit box and know where it's placed. That gives a certain amount of confidence, of course, when you are pitting.
Yeah, definitely. And no, I shouldn't say that. Something about Godek, but Godek obviously has a back of the grid like Greco after China. Probably because of the cutting incidents. I mean, we have seen so many reports because of that cursed last corner in China, where it's so easy to make a cut. A lot of drivers complaining about that. But if there's a wall, you wouldn't approach it like that. I mean, let's see drivers complain in 1 or 2 weeks time when we're in Montreal over the last corner. That wall is there. Why didn't you make it bigger? Yeah, that's the limit. Because of that cutting, a lot of drivers have, or relatively a lot of drivers have been demoted back to the grid before this race, like Godek and like David Greco as well. And Paschalis Gergis is going to start from the back of the grid as well, I believe. So is Patrick de Wit, by the way.
Yeah, I was just about to say, guess who popped in the server? It's Patrick de Wit. So he will be also racing today. Peter Brewick in the meantime, first place. Quite a big margin to Mario Godek at the moment, 0.3 of a second, 34.5, great pace on the full tank here. At least I presume he's running on the full tank, 218 liters, and what a difference it is compared to qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about Patrick de Wit though, I spoke with him earlier this race, 3 or 4 hours ago. It still was rather uncertain if Patrick would race. Christian Smirnov, team boss, obviously from FTS, was looking for. Fortunately, showed up after some issues or whatever, but didn't have a lot of practice laps under his belt. So let's see where Patrick will be able to land. Obviously, last year around, Patrick made a spectacular battle with Jack Keithley. Jack Keithley still competing then in the highest series in rFactor 2, and crashing together with Patrick de Wit after he lost it in turn 12, and that definitely caused some commotion. Hopefully for Patrick he won't think too much about that, because new year, new chance, and definitely a new way of order. Last year it was basically Morant who dominated the early parts of the season. Now we have Twister, and I think that's good for Formula 2. I do think it's bad that Morant isn't here. If you're listening, Morant, I mean, stop making, stop them baguettes and start driving again. But for now it's just Twister leading the field.
Yeah, and they only are unstrong in WC. I mean, I said it before as well. Daniel Kiss has taken the first 4 victories, out of the first 4 races in Ace 2. And Rens Klopp does relatively well there, made some mistakes, but certainly is consistent and has the pace, when Twister is hard to this
Definitely.
season. No one will have doubts about that.
Rens Klopp, obviously the champion in Pro from last year, so it's definitely not slacking off on his part. I mean, he's a very quick and consistent driver. Just had terrible bad luck yesterday, something he couldn't do couldn't do anything about, just got collected basically. But he will get there in Twister, I'm sure. But in Ace he has definitely a big competitor into his teammate Daniel Kiss, who obviously already won a race in FSR World Championship. He was the championship leader actually the first 2 weeks after Australia since he won it. So yeah, definitely hats off for that.
Yeah, Daniel Kiss is not here though today in WC. We have 2 more minutes to go until we see race and this warm-up session is finished. And the conclusion so far from this warm-up session is Twister again is looking strong, and in particular Peter Burak with a 34.3. I mean, that is a 4/10 gap to Patel, who is next up. And well, they look certainly very strong again. But it will be interesting to see as well what Kuba can do, and he is obviously being followed by the 2 Go Speed cars as well. Will be interesting to see whether Go Speed can mix themselves up a little bit in the top field here today.
Yeah, well, I definitely hope seeing the times from Kuba Brzezinski that he is like taking it slowly for the moment, because there's 1 second between him and Peter, and there wasn't any second in between them in qualify, not even a tenth. So yeah, only a few thousandths of a second. So oh no, it was actually half a tenth. So you know, I really hope he gets up to pace in the race. Godek though, starting back of the grid, showing tremendous pace at the moment, 34.8 for him. So be someone to climb up the field relatively easy. If we compare that to David Greco, he's doing a 35.4 in race pace, but David is playing it safe and smart as well, in my opinion, since he's starting on the medium compound. You don't want to waste that fresh set of soft tires early in the race when you're trapped behind people and you can't pass them because you have better pace in them, even though you're on the medium compound. So yeah, David Greco and Godek definitely drivers to look out for in the middle parts of the race. Hopefully they get into the top 10. And, for them at least.
Of course, they also need to be safe. You know, in the first couple of corners, we've seen a big incident in Pro. In Ace was relatively clean, has to be said. After that, it all kicked off a little bit, but obviously they need to survive the first couple of corners too, and it's really tight in those first corners.
True. Did you see that incident in Pro since you were leading that race?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, I watched the replay because I heard about it.
Yeah, okay, but not in your rear view mirrors.
No,
but, okay, but
maybe I could have seen it, like a big car flying in the air or something. But
yeah, man, it was one guy actually like forgot to brake or something, something like that. But yeah, it's none of that in WC. The respect between these drivers is was huge. And you know what also comes into play is that we have a relatively steady lineup in WC. Not many drivers seats are changed during the season, so you get a lot of situations where drivers get to know each other, and you do take experience from battling against each other next to the next races, and you do remind certain actions of people, and well, it does create something of a trust bond. I mean, for instance, I know some people think that Carlos Martin is just a crazy driver who dives through each gap. I mean, when he's behind you and you have had that experience, you think twice about not defending your corner, right? So it just creates an awesome race. I hope we're gonna like that for today. The qualified times did seem judging the qualified times, it does seem likely that we are going to see a spectacle today, and well, let's pray for that.
Let's indeed pray for that. Times are once again really, really close.
Patel's 9th though. Race. That's not good, is it?
There's something.
Maybe it's just me. Never mind. But
I think.
Oh yeah, Dion Kostadinov aborted this lap. No, never mind. We are gonna head off to the race as the drivers take their place grid. 57 laps in front of us and 57 laps of filled with action, I hope, for us all, obviously, because well, the twisters are split. Peter Briljak is the only twister starting in the top 4 even, and well, a lot of prospects for all these drivers. I'm sure Jeroen Simmelsies is enjoying his view behind Peter.
I'm certain he is, but he also needs to make sure that he enjoys it for as long as possible. Needs to get a good getaway off the line, as it's not the longest run ever towards turn 1, definitely not, but also not the shortest. You definitely want to make sure you get a good start here, especially with the turn 1 being so tight too.
But after that, it's definitely one of the curviest starts. You know, a lot of things could go wrong, but there are multiple lines possible. It's not as hard as Monaco turn 1, for example.
Oh no, definitely not.
So glad we got rid of Monaco. I don't know if I spoil some drinks right now, but I just think Monaco is really boring to drive. It is nice over 1 lap, but to have a 78 lap race, you know, not many overtaking maneuvers possible there.
Agree. Yeah.
But we're not in Monaco, we're in the hot digital desert of Bahrain. And well, I'm really curious what we're gonna see during the start of this race. Obviously a lot of things depend on how you set up your first gear. Obviously you can override the traction control, because it is traction control that is used during the starts of the race. Launch control is a form of traction control. You can override that with a button, and if you set it up that correctly, it will definitely give you some places. But yeah, it's just a question who did do that and who didn't. For the moment though, it's wait and see.
Jan Konstantinov in 10th, by the way, starts from the medium tire. Same for John-Eric Saxon and Blair Disley. So those are drivers we have to look out for, as they are definitely on a different strategy. May come into play later in the race. For Peter Briljak, however, it's 1 more corner to go, and now he finds himself on the main straight, probably doing a few more burnouts perhaps, and then we will go and race.
Paschalis Gergis is crossing the second last corner, as Peter is already finding his spot early on the grid. I don't want to give any bad memories to Twister, but they obviously saw Patel smoking at the beginning of the race in China, and it cost them the win in the end. And let's hope that won't happen for Briljak. However, all the drivers are taking place in their grid slot, and it's now up to Jeroen to deliver a flawless start here.
Oh, here we
in terms of commentary, but I'm sure the drivers will deliver, no doubt.
Let's hope so. Bazelis Georges finds his grid slot. We're waiting for the lights to come on right now. It's Sunday the 17th of May. Lights are coming on already. Peter Briljak on pole position. We see 5 lights. Lights are out and away we go. And Peter Briljak with a good start. Same for Kuba Brzezinski, but not able to get alongside. So far everything looks clean. Brzezinski tried to attack Peter. Peter breaks late though. No cars at the back. Although having said that, there is a car off at the back.
Yeah, and people are colliding indeed, so all in the back of the field, and a lot of people are, well, avoiding it as well. And you just focus on that race. I'll give you an update of what happened.
Found himself up to P4 and is on the back of Johnny Simoncic, which means that Johnny Simon has dropped a position. Simoncic, however, able to defend from Jim Priest at the moment, who seemed to have a good start. And incident in the back between, I think it was Patel. Yep, Patel was off for a second. Is back on the track though, rejoins in P8. But Patel definitely having contact with someone. First lockup spotted in turn 10, by the way. And Chris, can you give us an update?
Yeah, it was Vladimir Mirelli who braked, but he lost the car, and then he just created complete chaos there. He just lost the brakes onto cold brakes, spins the car around, and it sets everyone tumbling. So that's Vladimir Mirelli, I mean, you know, I don't know the English formulation of this, but get ready for some severe punishment right there.
Konstantinov off the track had some contact as well into turn 11 that was, and was spun around. The one person who is driving without a front wing is Patrick de Witt, I believe, and he is still going quite quickly. In fact, don't make contact, guys. Okay, that
he's Patrick, dude. Don't tell Patrick what to do. Patrick doesn't like that. No, he's going into the pit though, doing the sensible thing, and really unfortunate for him. Nothing he could do as well. Patrick just got collected there, just like a lot of other drivers. And like I said, Vladimir Mirelli in the yellow car, just the complete causer of that incident. But it is racing, and I'm sure it's not intentional, but it is what happened. David Greco and Godek now on P14 and P12. They're Greco on 14, Godek on 12. They have not collided into any rubbish on the track there, and they have made a flawless start from back of the grid.
Someone who's trying to put some pressure on Jeroen Simoncic at the moment is Jim Paris. Was very close on the entry of turn 1. Lost some time though to Jeroen Simoncic thanks to the dirty air. But definitely trying to knock on the door there. In the meantime, Johnny Simon indeed dropped the position on the start. Can't do anything, and Patrick de Witt is our first retirement of the day.
Yeah, well, nothing he could do, like I said. It's really unfortunate for him. Fortunately though, he didn't practice it much, and he didn't spend so much time into to making a big. Although, yeah, it's really unfortunate to see a crash like that.
In the meantime, Peter Breuillac.
Yeah, indeed, he's 2 seconds shy.
Yeah, exactly. He already made a 2-second gap to Kuba Brzezinski, opening up another lap here. Does Peter Breuillac. The gap is 2.1 seconds with Simoncic following it then, and Simoncic able to stay with Kuba relatively well so far. If he keeps this up, he might be just about close enough for DRS.
Yeah, definitely. But 2 laps done. Peter Breuillac 2 seconds actually shy of Kuba Brzezinski. I don't know if this implies that after 57 laps he will be 57 away from Cuba, but I certainly don't hope so from a spectator point of view. For Peter Breuillac, nice guy, I definitely give it to him any day. But yeah, let's hope we will see some action here. I mean, a big flat spot on Peter's tire, that would spice something up.
Yeah, as a spectator you obviously want as much action as possible. And well, talking about action, there is some action, I think, which can be expected for second place as Jeroen Simoncic picked up DRS on Kuba's car. But this whole train is going to get DRS, obviously, and it will neutralize the effect others have.
Sorry to undercut you, but we have Patel going a little bit aggressive against Carlos, just taking a peek. He knows he's battling a wounded Spaniard, you know. I mean, he senses the weakness here. But no, Carlos is still defending quite severely. But Patel, obviously, after that mistake in Q2, he knows he has to jump these guys for a good result.
Seems like and probably having good straight line speed, and Carlos maybe not so much. Here goes DRS, by the way, for
also for Martin.
Patel. Also for Martin, of course, as I've said, it all neutralizes the effect, and it does look like Patel is too far back at the moment.
Yeah, and really early off the trouble there from Patel as well, doing the sensible thing, knows that this race is really long for the moment. Daniel Brewer is into the pit, and Danny van der Niet is fighting with Dion Kostadinov. A lot of D's at the moment, holy. Dion is making way to P15 after a horrible start from P10. Danny is not giving up, going on the outside with a soft compound. Dion pushes him wide and has none of that. He just closes his door, and it was his right to do so, and rather crucial as well. I mean, he started P10, didn't see the start of him, but that was Greco now P13 made his way up to P13 by the cost of Pascales Georges. And if you think why is he doing that all the time, that's because apparently that's how you say the Pascales. So no harm done there. But Pascales is not done with Greco at the moment. He's giving it everything he's got, and he's on the same compound. So Godek though, Godek started back of the grid with a soft compound.
Have a look at Jeroen Simoncic again, battling quite hard with Jim Paris. Jim Paris being very close here. I give Jim Paris a good chance, although does Jeroen have DRS? He does have DRS, with neutralizing the effect again, but Jim Paris is so close on the back here, picking up the slipstream in the ref limiter though, and look at that. Nothing Jim Paris can do because he hit the ref limiter.
Yeah, that the 1/10 that he would get out of DRS if Simoncic didn't have it definitely came into play there. Nothing to be bad about. Danny van der Niet here getting passed by Enrico Di Loreto. Clean move from Enrico, and then he knew his place right there. Didn't want to make any fuss about it.
Martin defending from Mohamed Patel. Patel definitely putting the power and the pressure on him. They went almost side by side for turn 4, yeah. And Patel definitely having a look here and there. So far not able to get past just for the moment. I wonder if Carlos Martin is able to keep this up, because he has got a lot of pressure from Mohamed Patel behind.
But it's nice for him at least, for Carlos, that he can use the DRS as well as Patel. But Patel knows he's quicker at the moment, and Carlos knows that as well. Not anymore?
No, the DRS from Carlos Martin didn't.
Oh, maybe you forgot it.
Yeah, no, I think he was within DRS, but probably not anymore this lap. It's going to be close again to Bigazzi for this
big
lap. Big
lockup from Carlos though.
Yeah, that's going to cost him.
Yeah, that's going to cost him indeed, and he won't get DRS for this time around, I'm sure, like last time. And Patel will, and Carlos is just going wide a little bit, and this is the chance Patel has been looking for. Patel won't have DRS, Patel will. And there we go. Simmons is as well outbraking Kuba Brzezinski, but outbraking himself as well, and Brzezinski taking it back, and Patel is clearing Carlos Martin for P7. Action happening in one set of corners and just 5 seconds separating each other. And Paris is now diving up the inside indeed of Simonsic, forcing him wide as well, but I do think that was a legit move. And instantly Johnny Simon doesn't waste any time and dives into that gap as well. Brilliant driving from Paris and Simon. And also from Simonsic, that realizing that cutting instantly back on the track would have created an accident. So really great driving from them all.
Paris is now in third position. Look at the lockup though from Johnny Simon. Big lockup.
What's cooking, Johnny? What's cooking? Cooking some kangaroos on those tires, I'm sure. Holy. But, oh, and again a lockup. Yeah, that tire is cooked already. He must feel rather pissed off about that. Nevertheless, if he can cool it off and he won't have a lockup anymore for the next few laps, it might be okay. But definitely not what you want. But so understandable in that corner. If you lock it up at one time, I mean, it's so hard to get off the then you would just go straight. So at that moment he's just thinking, okay, I'm gonna have this lockup and gonna deal with it.
So now it is Johnny Simon knocking on the door of Jim Paris's, and he doesn't go in his slipstream, Chris de Jong. Why do you think that is? He tries to avoid the slipstream from Jim Paris's.
Yeah, well, maybe brake cooling issues
cooling
or something.
Or brake cooling, yeah.
Well, maybe he overshot his brakes and he just has a look at the temperature gauge and he's saying like, okay, I need that extra 100 or 200 degrees. Like I said in, I think it was the Pro broadcast earlier today, to keep your brakes outside of the 1000 or 950 degrees mark. I mean, 950 degrees Celsius, that's really the maximum. Above that, you're just gonna 3 or 4% each lap. Yeah, might be in a long time perspective that is.
This time it's all sweet and safe and sound through turns 9 and 10. No luck up there. Yeah, indeed good for him. But look, the gap in the meantime, Peter Briljak already pulled out on Kuba Brzezinski. The gap at the moment is 4.3 seconds. And well, Jim Paris's, let me have a look at Kuba's lap time. Oh, Jim Paris's 35.8, but that was with an overtake. We'll have a proper benchmark at the end of this lap and then see whether Jim Paris's might be able to challenge Kuba Brzezinski towards the end of the race. The gap visually doesn't look too big, and I'm sure Jim Paris's knows this as well.
Yeah, he's definitely not out of the picture, unlike Briljak is for Cuba, because he's just a dot at the end of the straight.
35.1 for Kuba Brzezinski, 34.6 for Jim Paris's, half a second quicker at the moment per lap. And remember that Jim Paris's at the moment is dragging those cars behind him all the way with him to Kuba Brzezinski. Obviously that whole train gets DRS, and so they are quite easily able to stick with Jim at the moment, and Jim is carrying them, as I said, towards Kuba.
Indeed. And well, we've talked about team jobs of Twister Racing doing a fantastic job in terms of team perspective. Johnny Simon and Journey Simonsic are definitely doing the same at the moment for GoSpeed. And I would think it's nice for GoSpeed to get a podium here. But they have to fight every inch of the way for it, because at the moment they're P4, P5, and in front of them are Jim Paris's, Cuba, Brzezinski and Peter Briljak. And Well, talking about front runners, those are not soft cookies to crack. Jim now really knocking onto the door of Cuba. Cuba goes a little bit wide, loses the momentum quite substantially. Jim will be in DRS race, 7-10 separating them, but after the end of this straight it will be 5 or 4, depending on this exit. And here we go, can he get any closer? Indeed he can, but how close is it? He's not in range for a dive there, but he's definitely coming closer indeed as we take a look at turn 1 now. Jim keeping it together, not really known for a lot of mistakes.
319 kph was the top speed from Jim Parise as it was revving out. Not the highest we have seen today so far at all, that's for sure. But will that compromise him to overtake Kuba Brzezinski? Because in the qualifying it's you rev out at the the right time. But here with the slipstream pickup as well, you rev out a little bit earlier because well, at that point you certainly want the 7th gear to perhaps be a little bit longer, but obviously you don't want that for qualifying. And again, the US Open.
Indeed, but he's showing steady though. Jim is driving really steady. I don't see really any moments of oversteer with him. So he's really in his way of driving. As Cuba is going a little bit wide there, he's definitely feeling the Greek warm breath in his neck. And Jim obviously has some race wins under his belt for this year, and he certainly doesn't have enough of it. Cuba going instantly defensive, just giving Jim a non-verbal sign like, I'm not gonna go easy on you, and why should he? Although DRS is opening, and last time around the gap was bigger, it is slimmer now, and enough for Cuba to go rather defensive. He should go defensive, and he is. Jim is taking the outside line, but no way that's gonna work with this gap. But maybe if he decreases the gap even more the next time around, he will certainly get a nice shot in.
Look how close Jim Parise is on the back of Kuba Brzezinski. Kuba doesn't go defensive for turn 4. Jim Parise had a little look, but fought better off it. In the meantime, look at the cars behind. They are not really able to stick at the moment. Jim Parise is having great pace here, and as you have said, also looking very solid, very steady. And that definitely is going to help his tires too, but obviously also in the dirty air right now from Kuba Brzezinski to get some clean air, cool his brakes, cool his engine, and most importantly, cool the tires as well a little bit.
Yeah, some good news for us viewers. Mohammed Patel has joined the pack and is now behind Francisco Bigazzi in P7. Patel it is in P7, and he certainly tries to make a move out of him, and he almost makes contact with Bigazzi. Because of the relatively early braking from Bigazzi. I mean, if you're in a twister car, extra advantage of your car being on rails, it drives better on rails. And yeah, Mohammed Patel got caught out a little bit out of that, but nothing happened fortunately for them both. Back to him, Kuba Brzezinski did manage to pull out a little bit of a gap compared to last time around. No way Jim will do it this time unless Cuba outbrakes himself, but I don't think that will happen. Jeroen Simmons is the first guy out of the top 5 to make a pit stop, and he will go back on track. So another quick stint for him. Hopefully he will find some clean air.
Yeah, after 10 laps though. It's not such a long stint, but the pit window is definitely open.
It's okay.
Yeah, it is okay, definitely. Maybe trying to go for the undercut as well, maybe feeling he's faster than his teammate, as the undercut is quite a big advantage around this track.
Yeah, true, and it's also no point in carrying on if you're on your own schedule and you're like, okay, I'm 1 or 2 tenths down already into half a second a lap, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna pit 1 or 2 laps earlier to get that confidence and not lose 1 or 2 seconds extra. I might be able to gain here, and otherwise I might just lose. So let's see if it brings him anywhere. At the moment, Simmons is into clear air, but he's knocking onto the door from Di Loreto in a few laps' time, I'm sure.
John-Eric Saxon in the meantime needs to defend from Marco Conti. Marco Conti on the inside of turn 11, side by side going into there. Saxon tries to swing it around the outside, keeps it around.
Brilliant!
Great move. Great move from Jon-Erik Saxon.
Yeah, experience is key in some parts of racing, and this was definitely an experienced move from Saxon. Also, the tire wear comes into play. I think at this stage in the race we have almost 11 laps done for these guys, at least. Saxon is on the medium compound, Conti is on the softs, and obviously the softs deteriorate much more. Pit stop party incoming with Paresis and Simon, and Simon is going on to the what tires? Medium compound of soft compound. So is Jim. So not really any surprises there. Both drivers want to have the best stints in front of them and not lose sight of the pack, and that's a wise decision. Patel now into clean air. Maybe he can get some positions back by staying out a little bit.
In P14 with Enrico Di Loreto in front of him, but as Jim Paresis exited the pit lane, Di Loreto was alongside him. Jim Paresis had to clip the inside curb, cost him a little bit of time, and so he again falls into the shoulders of Johnny Simon more or less. And Simon Church not able to undercut Simon at this stage, so they are still battling. That order is still the same, but as you have said, they are knocking onto the door of Di Loreto at the moment, and he is on warm medium tires.
Yeah. And Kuba Brzezinski doesn't leave anything to go to waste. He's going into the pits right now, and he should be, because he's effectively fighting P14 at the moment, Jim Paresis, who's really a little bit frustrated by getting into the dirty air, obviously. But yeah, you can't expect Di Loreto to make way for a guy who just made a pit stop. It's not qualification here. Brilliak into the pits as well. So. And Brilliak, oh no, Cuba is staying out. He had his pit light on the entire lap, but he managed to do some more laps. Ooh, Bigazzi in the pit, Carlos Martin in the pit, Patel into the pit. I don't know if it's wise that Cuba stays out, but you know, he's obviously way faster than me, so he should know better. But Patel going out on the soft tires, so is Bigazzi, so is Carlos Martin. So every top 10 runner, when they've pitted, they've come back out onto the medium of a soft compound. Don't know why I keep mistaking between mediums and softs, but
we all make mistakes, Chris.
Definitely me. Was that it?
I'm done dashing on you, Chris.
Yeah. But Peter Brilliak now 5th place for him after a pit stop. That's way better than Jim Paresis. Obviously, he had a 6-second gap to him before the pit stops. Although he is in traffic now, Godek in front of him. Remember, Godek started from back of the grid. He's now in P4. But yeah, Peter should dispose these guys ASAP. But it's not going to be an easy job. We have seen Godek racing in Ace, and well, he was aggressive to say the least, just turning into cars. It was sometimes a little bit like Maldonado. No offense meant there, but. I mean, it was really ridiculous, and I'm sure he would say the same as well. And like you just said a minute ago, he doesn't do this time around because he has effectively the race leader behind him. The race leader at the moment is pitting, but if we can go to Brilliak is next to them. Godek is going defensive and fighting is better with Saxon. Oh no, Saxon is going into the pit. Godek is not going into the pit, is going defensive, still has the DRS, but lets him go now in the end.
Yeah,
wise decision from Godek.
Yeah, indeed a wise decision. As Jim Paresis is 6th place, where does he end up in comparison with Kuba Brzezinski? Here we go into turn 1. Johnny Simon overshooting the corner a little bit. Jim Paresis trying to swing around the outside.
This is crucial. This is crucial. Cuba has managed to stick out in front of him despite going 2 laps longer than Jim, and he's on the medium compound. Might see it. I'm sure he sees that he's on the medium compound, or he has someone on the radio. And it's crucial for him to make a pass right now, because in the end, if Jim doesn't do it in 6 laps time, he's gonna wear his tires off, and Cuba will be able to go 5 or 6 laps longer than that because he's on the harder compound.
Yeah, good point, Chris. Jim Paresis at the moment definitely putting the pressure on Kuba Brzezinski. Can Kuba live under the pressure though? That's the question, as he is also on the medium tire, giving him a disadvantage. Little DRS straight, but no overtaking.
Useless DRS straight.
Yeah, exactly. It is indeed a useless DRS straight.
I mean, if they really wanted to make a mark, the main straight is really okay. But as we are on board with hopefully Jim Paresis I mean, they should have done it on this straight, for example. You know, you have the mistake you can really make onto the exit, and you know, but they didn't. It doesn't matter anyway. Brzezinski though isn't gonna give this one for free, I'm sure. He's gonna fight this every inch of the way, and he's in the front. He can decide the racing line, and I'm sure he will. Here we go. DRS open for Jim Paresis. Cuba is not going defensive yet. It's going defensive now. Puts Jim to the outside of the track, is passing him under the braking, but has the outside line, but does manage to stick onto it. And as someone spins, it's Godek in front of him who spun. He's into neutral, back to first gear, spins it rounds once more.
Look at Brzezinski, alongside and they make contact. And look at Simon now, can Simon take advantage from this? No, not yet. Brzezinski on the inside, sorry to cut you off, Chris. Indeed, Godek spun, but still going side by side these guys, and Jim Paresis gets the move done.
I'm sorry to not see that instantly.
Still not,
but,
still not done.
Still not done indeed, but now he's on the inside. Jim should have this, as long as he does clearly. But Cuba didn't let go of that though, but does create a little bit of a brake effect, and Johnny Simon almost catch Mohammed Patel out there, who's really knocking onto the door there. What an action we're seeing. Simon is going defensive, and he won't be shooting right on through here. Easy to do that there. So Mohammed Patel now into the go speed sandwich, but he's diving onto the inside. Really fantastic job. Johnny Simon overshot himself a little bit, but he's not out of contention yet. He has his teammate up to in the inside. But here we go, they're braking, and he's seen for with Patel. He might be able to do a better job this straight round, but Mohammed will be able to cover with DRS.
Yeah, Patel indeed having DRS that will neutralize the effect. I do not think that Simon is close enough to make a move. We see Salman in the background going to the pit line. That's Enrico
Patel's diving! Patel's diving to Jim Paresis. Brilliant dive from him, but he overshoots himself as well. But +1 for trying Cuba. What a determination that is. It was completely legit as well, but Jim saw it in his rear view mirror and he was like, okay, I'm just gonna take my line and let you overshoot. So nice attendance there from Jim, good job.
What an action indeed. You have mentioned it before in the previous lap. Lots of action here after the pit stops. One person who still needs to make the pit stop though is David Greco, in the moment driving in second place, but on that medium tire, and same for Blair Disley. But bear in mind, these guys are now coming up to those guys, so Greco and Disley, and it will be interesting to see whether they can clear them and in how much time they can do it. Obviously, preferably for those drivers ASAP, as in the background again there is some battling.
Yeah, Blair Disley didn't pit as well, obviously, and he's now on 15 laps old medium compounds. Already has some fighting under his belt, as Jim gets P3 from Blair since he's lost out on the braking part there, and he instantly gets under pressure by Cuba, and Cuba is going to dive this. Indeed he is, but closing the door there, doing the sensible thing. Well, he almost has him, and indeed he will have him at the end of this straight, I'm sure. And since Blair is on older tires, I don't think he will defend as much.
Blair has the top speed though because of the DRS, but he is on the inside, and that is a straightforward move. Have a look at Patel as well in the background, by the way, and also
he takes him as well.
Squeeze past.
Yeah, brilliant move from him, and he has better momentum than Brzezinski at the moment. Brzezinski going defensive, of course, but will it be enough? The Patel with the softer compound tire, and he manages to make it work. Patel on rails like any twister car. Great move from him.
Indeed a great move, and now next up for Patel is Jim Paresis. Can he stick with Jim Paresis or not? That's the question. In front of Jim Paresis though is not a twister car, it's David Gregg. A big train of cars here, all battling. We see another battle for P7 as well with Bigazzi, who joined this pack, and Jeroen Simoncic, but that settled down a little bit. But a lot of action here, that's for sure. In the meantime, Peter Briljak though still leading, having an 11-second gap to these guys.
Yeah, the gaps are increasing a little bit, but there's still a lot of drivers within a few seconds of each other. Basically, the only guy who's out in front quite severely is Peter Briljak with 11 seconds. But P2 and P9 indeed are separated by only 4 seconds. So plenty of action going on in one frame of the that our dear Samwise Gamgee Jones is providing us, right Sam? So Greco now going, well, not defensive against his own prodigy Jim Paresis, he just lets him go. I don't think, however, that will be the case with Kuba Brzezinski if he's coming knocking onto the door.
Oh no, he will definitely be trying to defend that and helping Jim Paresis out, creating a gap obviously to Patel, or to Kuba.
Yeah, well, I think Patel will do the same. I mean, Greg, remarkable. He's doing the unthinkable thing with these, well, completely filled to the top fuel tank stints, because he's driving on the medium tire, but he's already driving at least 18 laps on this after this lap. So those tires must be shattered. But what he's trying to do is to jump these other guys into into getting rid of his back of the grid start and pit stop, just coming out in P5, P6, and be on par with the rest.
Oh, yeah, breaks himself for turn 11 though, and here comes Kuba Brzezinski. Yep, took advantage of that.
Well, that was rather easier than we thought, but that's making a mistake right there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Greco into the pits at any second now, but he doesn't have his pit light on at the moment, so we shouldn't be expecting him. What's wrong with my English now? Come on. So Brzezinski there. Yeah, indeed.
He'll keep on
Brzezinski
going.
now in P4. For him, since he isn't losing track of Mohammed Patel, and he just has clear air, relatively clear air again. Who's that into the pits? It's Blair Disley finally for him. So 18 laps is what it costed for him to get rid of these medium compound tires. And I'm really curious what Greco will do.
John Saxon getting past Marco Conti in the background. Oh, that's all for P10, so Saxon in the top 10 here. But in the meantime, the focus obviously is on this battle here for P5 at the moment with Greco. Already, Greco decides to keep on going, and look at this train here, all being held up behind David Greco. And well, Simon's chance will obviously be in that short DRS zone, but will it be enough? He needs to be a little bit closer in order to make that one work, but bear in mind that Greco has worn tires. Here comes turns 9 and 10. And well, Simon very close on the back, but well, despite the worn tires, David Greco to put the power down quite well.
Yeah, definitely, and he's hanging on to that 5th place for the moment being, but still going to be harder lap by lap. Let's see, he has his pit light on at the moment, so we can assume that he finally calls it quits after 19 laps. But that's a remarkable job. He's going off the track, but he did everything he could to give his team, and Kuba Brzezinski as well, indirectly, and unintentionally, the best lead possible. He's getting passed now by Johnny Simon and by Simon. Yeah, he has to go to the pit, so he was like, let me pass, but he did everything he could.
Yeah, but Bigazzi got past Simončić will have DRS on him, but because of that action, Simončić lost the place and he cannot get back at Bigazzi for turn 1, so that's unfortunate for Johnny Simončić. In the meantime, we see in the background Carlos Martin, the guy with the broken shoulder, driving in there as well and joining this battle a bit too. David Greco going out of the pit again, going for that medium tire, Chris.
Yeah, again going for the medium tire. Maybe he is just more confident on that. Maybe it's just some strategical insights he had at the beginning of the race, or maybe it's all planned. Who knows? Time will tell what will be the successfulest strategy. However, for the moment, it's Peter Briljak with an 11 second lead to his teammate Jim Paresis, and Peter is showing well, how it was in the Schumi era and in the Vettel Red Bull era, where you know, we would just drive off basically, because I wouldn't see Peter making mistakes and throwing this away. I mean, if he has the pace in the early parts of the race, I wouldn't see any reason why he shouldn't in the second stages.
Oh, no commentator curse, Chris, but we saw last week, last round I should say, what happened to Patel in the final lap. I don't really want to bring up that point though, as it was terrible. But,
yeah, terrible.
Well.
He was smoking at the first lap of the race though. But it's a long waiting time to wait for the grid to form up, and now if it's 30 seconds, you're definitely gonna feel that. So, well, none of that for Peter this time around. Although if Mohammed Patel is in second, you know, I wouldn't feel so bad. It would feel less bad, you know, and Patel getting a win for it. But no, Peter deserves it every inch of the way for sure. At the moment though, Simon and Bigazzi are fighting. Bigazzi is going on to the inside, but that's definitely a gap that was about to disappear anyway. And he now gets under pressure by the teammate of Simon, Jeroen Simonsic.
Yeah, but he's being pressured again by Carlos Martin too. It's a great battle here, which we have seen all race long pretty much.
Oh, Carlos is going for it, maybe? Oh, no, he's not. I thought, well, by the looks of Carlos, you know, he might be able to dive, but and wanting to dive as well. But none of that. Daniel Brewer into the pits from P18. I mean, Kuba Brzezinski, his teammate, doing a better job in P4 at the moment. So Bigazzi now really trying to pressure Johnny Simon to the max, but yeah, Johnny is not easy to crack, and I'm sure he wants a good result this time around. He has been rather unlucky in the earlier races, Johnny Simon, definitely in Australia where he got crashed by a certain Jeroen Kweekel crashing. Right, Jeroen. So
again, who is this? We keep talking about it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know, some guy who drives in pro. And dominates it. Anyway, he's getting under pressure now by Bigazzi, but going back to the middle of the track as well. Nothing that Bigazzi can do at the moment. And Johnny wants this. Johnny wants this result, but he's gonna have to fight for it again.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Here we go into turn 4. Bigazzi on the outside. Have a look at the background as well. Lots of battling here going on. Bigazzi tries to swing around the outside. They are still side by side. Simon having the inside line for the next corner go. What is Bigazzi going to do? He tries it. Well, 10 for bravery. 10 for bravery. Whoa. Look at Simonsic again, and as well down the inside of turn 8. Can Simonsic do it? No, and look at Carlos Martin too. Carlos Martin, can he take advantage on the outside though for the next turn? That's not gonna work, I think.
And that's not gonna work. There was slight contact between Bigazzi and Simonsic, but nothing too severe, and no front end plates lost there. As Carlos and both Simonsic slide in again. But what an action that was! And almost you saw Simonsic trying to be the opportunistic of the two and trying to catch Bigazzi in that gap. Although Bigazzi had none of it, and he recovered quite remarkably. However, Simon still has to watch out, because next time around on this straight he won't have DRS and Bigazzi will, and he's gonna have to take an extra second look in his mirrors.
Yeah, Simonsic ran wide on the exit of turn 15. Here comes Carlos Martin and Simon indeed in the pit lane. Carlos Martin, however, finding himself right on the back of Jeroen Simonsic. Jeroen not bother defending. Carlos Martin will have the inside line for them for turn 1, and this should be a straightforward move, isn't it? It is indeed.
It sure is. A little bit of wiggling around from Carlos, but he did make the place. Only thing he has to do is make it stick for this time around. Oh, and back from the outside, but the inside for Carlos makes it work in the end. And great driving from them both. And I really think that we as NetRace deserve a good result, since our team boss had his marriage yesterday. Congrats to Ernesto De Angelis and his wife. So maybe a nice podium for NetRace today. Now Carlos would have to do a lot better than this, but he's already doing a fantastic job. P6 for him at the moment, but Bigazzi is clearly well, out of the picture for this moment. I'm really curious though how Johnny Simon will undercut it. He's at the moment into 12th spot, but with fresh tires and with nobody in front of him that's also on new tires, so might get the undercut work on the newer set.
Yes, indeed, in clean air. Went for the medium tires, and we'll see indeed whether that works. Is anyone going to respond out of these guys? Carlos Martin does have a pit light on. Bigazzi has though, so we could be expecting Bigazzi in. Same for Simonsic. Bigazzi decides to keep on going though. Same for Simonsic. So they all decide to stay out and not cover Simon at this time. But obviously it will give them an advantage.
Oh, what's happening with Johnny? Johnny! What happened? Did he crash? I think he did. Johnny, yeah, spinning the car around. Oh my god, that's not how it's supposed to be done. And heading off to the track, he makes slight contact if we see the replay of that and loses his front end plate, that could have been a hell of a lot worse if he made severe contact there. Both drivers would be definitely DNF. But Simon just losing it right here. And that set of tires is done. That was definitely 10 or 20% out of his tire life. So really unfortunate for him, but his own mistake. That makes it even harder.
Yeah, he went on the curb, and those curbs are deadly, aren't they, on the outside there for turn 14?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's sick. I mean, that corner in the turn 13 and the last corner, if you hit the curbs on the outside, then you're well likely to go on straight and miss your apex completely.
It's the same for turn 11, I think. The quick left-hander, if you touch it on the outside there, you're pretty much gone too. So we don't see that anymore in the race, but certainly unlucky for Johnny Simon, although, as you have said, it was his own mistake. So maybe not call it unlucky, but for sure it was his own mistake, as you have mentioned. Back to the racing though, Jim Paris is being pressured by Mohammed Patel, who well, seems to have great pace, Patel, and is doing very well. Car in the background though, coming into the pit lane, that is Bigazzi. And he will obviously not have Simon anymore in front of him or behind him. As he comes into the pit lane, stops at his pit mark, gets onto the medium tire and resumes his way. Same for Simonchich, also on the medium tire.
Yeah, indeed, and well, both are about to jump Simon, indeed, and really unfortunate for him. However, it does leave a lot of drivers to make up a place, such as David Greco, who after his pit stop is driving in P8 now. Definitely doing a better job than Marek Godek, who started back of the grid as well. 9 seconds separating them two. But yeah, he's into clear areas. Di Loretto behind him. Both know each other rather well and have respect for each other. So no really stressful moments for Greco. So I'm really curious where he can take this stint into clean air and manages to climb up against. Because some drivers in front of him are on a different strategy. I think Greco is going for a 3-stop.
Mohammed Patel then finds himself on the back of Jim Paris, locks up a bit in the final corner, but his pit light is on. Same for Jim Paris. So are we going to see a double pit stop here? No. I thought they were both heading into the pit lane, but Patel decided to stay out. And that means that Jim Paris then comes into the pit lane. Let's see what compound he switches on. Presumably it's the medium compound, but we'll have a look. It's indeed the medium compound for Jim Paris. He heads out again. Some others in the pit lane as well, including Carlos Martin. He switches to the medium. John Eric Saxon, fighting for that 10th place during this race, goes into the pit lane from soft to soft, I think. Yep, also to soft.
Yeah, soft being the preferable tire for a lot of these drivers, and who will blame them differently. David Greco definitely going for a 3-stop here. Only has made 1 stop, whilst the majority has done 2 stops. So yeah, I'm really curious how it will work out for him. I don't think he will go soft after this, but let's see for now. And let's see if Johnny Simon can recover after that unfortunate mistake. I mean, he's at the moment in P15, so no harm done. I mean, the top 10 is still well within reach, definitely with his pace. But it's going to be a hard job, that's for sure.
In the meantime,
Cuba Brzezinski doing a steady job as well.
Oh yeah.
Driving in no man's land.
Brujak staying out, coming up to some lap traffic. It's then Jan Brewer who will be the first lap car of the race. If Peter Brujak does go into the pit lane this lap, who does go into the pit lane is Mohammed Patel. Finds himself in his grid slot right now, or pit box rather, and goes to the medium tire 2. See where he rejoins then. Conti in 2 from P4. Jim Paris is coming down the main straight right now. He should be able to rejoin in front of Patel, which he does indeed. Yep, so Patel again finding himself behind Paris, and Patel immediately locking up into turn 1. It is clear that Patel wants to pass Jim Paris during this stint, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how their team is ruled by, with maybe rules against each other, you know, that if you come coming out in front after pit stops, so that you don't overtake the other guy unless someone makes a mistake or whatever. But yeah, hopefully we get to see some battling, definitely from these two drivers. And yeah, let's see if that will happen though. David Greco now in P5, that's really remarkable. So a lot of these drivers are about to make their pit stops, I'm sure. For let's see, I think Carlos Martin will... Oh no, Carlos Martin just pitted, right? Peter Briljak is in the pits now, so that's an important moment to catch. Don't think he will go out of the lead for long though, even if Cuba is not going into the pit. No, Cuba is not going into the pit, so Cuba leading this race for 1 or 2 laps, I'm sure, after he will give it back to Peter.
There we go then, Kuba Brzezinski indeed taking the lead. Peter Briljak on the medium tire, he rejoins the track behind Brzezinski. As you said, we should see Brzezinski coming in anytime soon. Not a lot of battling so far, I don't think so, on the track. Those are all tiny little gaps of about 1 to 2 seconds behind, well, to most drivers. David Greco though, on his tires, he's likely to be pressured a little bit perhaps by Di Loreto and also Bigazzi behind.
Still a lot of drivers, well, basically scratching each other for a lot of these positions. Bigazzi now on Di Loreto, as you said, that is about well, fighting time. Both are on the same compound, it seems. Is it? I can't see Di Loreto out of the bug you had.
He's on soft, Di Loreto, and
oh, he's on soft. Well, he did make a... Oh yeah, he has spit light on too. Well, he was locking up quite severely 2 corners ago, and Bigazzi, well, on fresher tires, is able to stay out longer. But yeah, effectively, Bigazzi is driving on P5. Only the guys in front of him need to make out of their way and get into the pit. So here comes Brzezinski into the pit, which gives the lead back into the hands of the Twister racing car of Peter Briljak. And well, there might be a big chance, there is a big chance that we won't see any changes of the lead for the remainder of this race. We've just, we almost crossed the halfway point at the half of this lap. And Peter is doing a fantastic job. He's actually driving flawless. And he's only driving against himself at this stage. I mean, 10 seconds, 10-second gap is all you want. It's a complete luxurious position there.
Brzezinski rejoining in P6 behind Bigazzi, but he is on the soft tire this time round. So we'll be having a look at Kuba Brzezinski for sure. Godek in the meantime in the pit, that's important for Johnny Simon, as Simon was actually being held up by Godek for quite a long while, but now he has clean air in front of him.
And let's see when David Greco will pit, because his tires are, well, pretty much well, old, to say the least. He only done 1 pit stop at the moment. I think he might be doing 2 or 3 laps more, but you know, he doesn't want to go for a 2-stop, I suppose, so basically can't. So it would be a bit ridiculous to push this stint too far if you only have to do 6 laps with a soft compound at the end of the race. So let's see where he and when he will pit. At the moment though, it's Bigazzi eating away the lead that Greco has over him. And I think in 1 or 2 laps time he will be able to take him. Won't make life easy for him though. Yeah, he sure is.
But definitely too far back at the moment to make any kind of maneuver on David Greco. Obviously an experienced driver knows what he's doing. And, no need to defend there yet. Bigazzi was way too far back.
He's getting closer and closer though. Ready for his move. Just has to prepare it. And obviously in Sector 2 it's so hard to overtake. You basically have to rely on a mistake of someone else in order to get past, because definitely in these two corners here, it's you know, it's not possible to make a dive. If you do make a dive, then the other is basically forced to go entirely off the racing line, and you know, that's just way too much of it. But at the moment though, Bigazzi taking a look. No way he's gonna dive into here, I'm sure. Just trying to put some pressure onto Greco. I don't know if he knows that it is Greco in front of him, because he's not easy to be pressurized. However, everything can be useful. Bigazzi though getting really under pressure by Brzezinski now. He did try everything he did to pass Greco already. But it seems like Brzezinski is having the better of him at the moment. Being on the soft compound, he will be the one attacking him at the moment.
Here we go down the main straight then. Kuba Brzezinski on that soft compound, as you have mentioned, behind Bigazzi, but they are all hitting the ref limiter behind David Greco. Bigazzi having a look, but exactly as what happened last time, he's just too far back. But Brzezinski definitely watching this battle on his softer compound.
Yeah, definitely, but also in his perspective, he doesn't want to waste time behind these guys. Not that they're holding him up in a way. I mean, all of them are really talented and fast drivers. But in terms of strategic point of view, Cuba has the much faster compound. And here he goes for the dive. There was a gap and he took it. And a sublime job from Cuba Brzezinski, making use of every little bit of space on the road he can get. And that's P5 for him. Stunning job. You still got DRS here, since he manages to get into the detection point on time, and now his next target is locked up. It's a certain blue car with Twister on the side,
and an Italian man in it, I think.
Yeah, a Brazilian Italian, I believe. So he's definitely not gonna give this for free, as he did in the last stint. When he made a mistake and Brzezinski was able to take him down in the previous corner, actually. Yeah, another round, another chance. Let's see some great defending from Greco.
This pit line is not on, gonna stay out for an 11. In the meantime, a Speed car dived into the pit lane at the back, but it's all about this battle here at the moment. Simoncic it is indeed into the pit lane. Kuba Brzezinski though on turn 1.
Who's gonna die?
Look, and he goes for it. And Greco leaves just about enough room, I think, but Brzezinski will have the better acceleration, probably out of turn 3, and Greco is, I think, gonna have to prepare himself again for turn 4 of an attack from Brzezinski. Doesn't bother defending. Brzezinski on the inside, Greco breaking later. He does not give up, does he?
Oh well, he is on the outside, but Greco still has the momentum here. Cuba is alongside, but only with on the height of the rear wheels, with his own front wheels with Greco, but sensible and courageful driving from Greco here. Just, you know, ignoring a defensive line and just taking his racing lines with a little bit of caution. But that also leaves Cuba Brzezinski thinking like, okay, you know, I can't push him too deep because otherwise I might crash him. Here he goes again though. He's now really alongside and has the shorter line into the corner. This should be a done deal. But the inside is for Greco though. He's not giving in. He's not giving up. Greco on the inside. Great driving from both of them. They make contact. Slight contact though. Racing incident contact. No punishes there. And alongside that is Francisco Bigazzi. What a race we have on our hands here. Greco doing everything he can. Using every rule in the book. And he still has DRS. But Cuba Brzezinski, oh no, he didn't cover. So Greco now with DRS as well. Doesn't bother to go aggressive. Lets Brzezinski go defensive, and he's already past him. Brzezinski up to the inside again. And Bigazzi there behind as well. Carlos Martin slotting behind them as well. And Carlos Martin now onto Bigazzi trying to make a move, I'm sure.
This is fantastic to see Bigazzi going a bit defensive, not too much though. Carlos Martin doesn't go down the inside there, but this is what you want to see, Chris. This is great battling.
This is what we all want to see.
With respect as well, you know, what could have ended up in an incident easily is being treated here very well by all these drivers.
Yeah, definitely. This is what all you thousands of people in the broadcast want to see, and what we all want. Yeah, no, definitely. Nobody is cracking under pressure in turn 9 and 10 though, and that's a good thing. Don't want to see any messed up, effed up crashes here. At the moment, Jon-Erik Saxon is even making his way up to the, well, leading pack, so to speak, the top 8 he's already in, but he has now found himself on the back of Carlos Martin, which gives him hope, and Conti is back with him as well. Simon, after that mistake, well, if he continues like this, maybe in 4 or 5 laps time, he will maybe collect the pack as well.
Yeah, he's doing low 34s. That pack is somewhere in the mid 34s at the moment. Gap is 8 seconds to this train, by the way. And well, as you have mentioned, if he does keep up the pace, he will close this gap down. Maybe we will see him battling here as well. In the meantime, Bigazzi on the inside of David Greco. And that is a straightforward move. Bigazzi back corner. Carlos Martin in the background made slight contact with Greco. As Greco closed the door and took a different line. Now Greco again under attack from Carlos. Here we go.
Oh, and there you see Greco knowing Carlos instantly. He wants to die. He almost made contact. Brilliant driving here, 3 wide into that corner, or outside coming out of that corner. And in the meantime, though, Jon-Erik Saxon taking Greco as well. Opportunistic move from Saxon. Saxon is really driving well today. Already seen a brilliant move from him earlier in the race, and this as well, such an opportunistic, experienced move. So here we go, Greco losing out now, and it might be time for him to call in the tower. Here he lets Conti go. He lets Conti go. He deliberately lets Conti go. Well, that's friends right there, and colleagues even at Codemasters. So maybe Conti can make life difficult for the guys in front. Greco though, he is on relatively old tires, and well, 16 laps have passed on this medium compound. But to make this stint absolutely work, he might be looking at 5 more. I mean, if he's actually 2-stopping, I would think that's completely crazy. But if it's possible for him, then I would take my hat off for him. 2 stops with 57 laps, that would be insane.
Keeps on going for the moment, does David Greco, but certainly he will be losing time to that train. But I don't care, he has brought in some great action, and that is really what you want to see. But obviously this train will be released now.
I heard a little bit of a crash sound though, like a little bump. Yeah. Oh, what's that? I'm not wrong.
Van der Niet? I think it's Van der Niet.
Might be.
Van der Niet is driving without a front wing.
Oh, Van der Niet making contact in turn 9 and 10 with Daniel Brewer. Onto the braking, tapping over the behind of him. He lost his front wing, so that's basically a done deal for Danny. Really not something Daniel Brewer deserves, and definitely not the last thing Danny has heard about that, I'm sure. But yeah, unfortunate for Brewer specifically. Nothing he could do there. So Van der Niet making his way back into the pits, and to repair his car, because driving without a front wing is not a sensible thing in Formula 1. And he retires the car as well. He has a DNF.
Yeah. Sam Jones, our cameraman, just said Patel is on the grass. That Van der Niet indeed retired, but Patel was on the grass down the main straight.
Maybe looking at something else. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was just on the grass for 1 or 2 seconds indeed. So that was worrying to say the least. Johnny Simon into the pits, and in front of them it's Carlos Martin, who's getting under pressure by Jon-Erik Saxon, and gets taken by him as well. And Carlos Martin actually went completely straight. I hope we've seen that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, if we can rewind Carlos Martin with 35 seconds
turn
now.
1.
I mean, turn 1. He tries to brake or something, completely loses the car, and manages to rejoin the track, be it in a fashionable way, going completely straight onto the straight again. But yeah, that was something scary for our young Spanish tortilla-loving guy.
Now, good save though. I mean, losing the rear end on the such heavy braking, fair enough to him, fair play to him.
Unfortunately, he didn't collect Bugatti, you know.
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
I mean, you know, that really reminds me of something for us Formula 1 knowers. With Kimi Raikkonen crashing in the last lap of the race on the Nürburgring. Yeah. You know, he almost collected Jensen Button there.
Johnny Simon's off.
With 1 millimeter. No, Johnny Simon. For real?
There's someone off in turn 13. It's Simončić.
Oh, it's Simončić. That's not good for go speed. Yeah, and it's indeed that outside curb that we've talked about. If you hit that and you try to brake on that, the car is going to brake out on you.
Part of that is just concentration, really. His tires are shattered and comes into the pit lane straight away. But that, in my opinion, that is part of your concentration, because you don't want to go on the outside curb. You know that as a driver, and well, you need to avoid that for 57 laps long.
Yeah. Well, Simončić into the pits now, obviously shattered tires. He's going to try to make the best out of this, and I do think it's sensible to, well, maybe try 21 laps on a set of mediums. I mean, he's going out on soft tires, and I don't think he will do 21 laps on that. I mean, if Greco can do 19 or 20 laps with a full fuel tank at the start of this race, I'm sure Simončić can do it at the, well, 2/3 of the race. But he probably and most likely has to go back into the pit in 10 more laps. Anyway though, who is having a remarkably boring race at the moment is Peter Briljak. Not boring because he's leading, but he isn't even realizing all the chaos that is going on behind him, because it was chaos at some point, and who is driving a remarkably great race is Jon-Erik Saxon. Really picks up the flow, has his DRS wide open. Will it be enough to make a move out of Bugatti? Bugatti not really going defensive. Saxon hitting the rev limiter and use that straight in order to get a little bit closer. I don't think he will dive into this corner, even though he's closer. I mean, it's such a hard corner to dive into, because if you overshoot, he does lock up, but if you overshoot that, then the chances of you hitting the side of someone are quite high.
Yeah, it's very easy to collect another driver there in turn 4, that's for sure. But Saxon really pushing at the moment, and well, so far this driver, Jon-Erik, has really amused me quite a bit today. We have talked about him before. He's having a good race, doesn't he?
He sure is. He sure is having a good race.
Again, picking up the DRS on Bugatti though. Too far back this time, and as you have said, Chris, this is a pretty useless DRS straight in conditions like these. But bear in mind, he does close up a little bit, then picks up the dirty air again through these very high-speed corners. Then you slow it down for turn 13. As we have said before, do not touch the outside curb there. Then switch back or cut back to the apex and let the car run out wide as possible.
Well, I'm really curious where David Greco will come off to, because he is going for a two-stop, I think. He is going for a two-stop, David Greco, and that's absolutely stunning and remarkable in my opinion. I mean, his lap times are so consistent. He's really into the zone, and the only inconsistent things are lap times are, you know, letting Marco Conti in front of him and whatever, some battling going on. But yeah, if someone told me like one driver is two-stopping today, I would call it driving crazy, you know. But you know, David is showing his work where other drivers are even 3 or 4 stopping, you know. But David has been driving on the medium compounds all the time and saved the soft compound for last, so the deterioration won't be as bad as it would be on a full fuel tank. You know, that's all things that come into play. The medium compound is so much more forgiving, and if you drive a steady pace and don't really lock up and you control them lock-ups, then you might be able to do a fantastically good job at the end of this race. So let's hope it pays dividend for him.
Yeah, good point, Chris. In the meantime, Jon-Erik Saxon passed Bugatti in turn 4. Saxon going for the undercut, and it worked beautifully for him with those soft tires, and Bugatti straight away drops a little bit off Saxon. and finds Carlos Martin now right behind him. We'll see whether Carlos gets by. One crucial thing here is whether Bigazzi is within a second of Saxon as they approach the DRS dashboard. They just went over it. Does he have DRS? He does have DRS, Bigazzi. He will have DRS just about it, but it doesn't matter in fact because Bigazzi pits.
Indeed, Kostadinov losing some places. What's going on with him?
Oh, also outside curb moment in turn 13.
Yeah, definitely so, and that's the result of that, instantly shattering the tires as well.
Comes into the pit lane. So Kostadinov coming into the pit lane because of that incident in turn 13. We've seen a few drivers now making that mistake in turn 13, and it actually is pretty difficult obviously to stay concentrated for 57 laps long. But at the same time, you know that the curve is there and you should not drive over it. But easier said than done. In the meantime, Jim Paris is still leading from Mohammed Patel, and obviously Peter Breuillac driving in no man's land on his own in front. But Patel has been the whole time about 3-4 tenths behind Paris, but has not really made a move. The gap always seems to be about 3-4 tenths, and that's really it, Patel cannot get past at the moment. And once again, Jim Paris is having a superb exit, and Patel pitting. Patel coming into the pit lane, so switching from the medium compound to the soft compound. 17 more laps to go. Patel going onto the soft tire, trying to undercut Jim Paris. We'll see whether that works though, as Jon-Erik Saxon also comes into the pit lane to change his tires.
Hopefully for Patel it will. Ballsy move though, but with 17 laps to go, it's definitely a possibility.
Drago in the pit too.
Yeah,
so
he's going
for soft then.
Oh, he sure is going for soft, is he? He is. So 17 laps for them both, and that's a 2-stopper for David Greco. Say it again. We all heard it 10 times already, but yeah, if he makes this work, top 10 is definitely realistic for him. A lot of these guys in front of him still need to make a pit stop, so he basically has that one in the bag. But how much will it be? I mean, top 5? Would that be too opportunistic? Might not be. Cuba though doing a great job, momentarily driving on P3. He still has a pit stop to make, I'm sure. Oh no, does he?
I think he does have to make another pit stop, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, he will most likely, or most definitely, go to the softer compound of the two. But
in lap 28, so yeah, he will have to do stop then. He doesn't do it this lap though. Pit light is not on just Jim Paris' response to Patel. No, he does not. Jim Paris is seeing out as well.
Yeah, that's really saying something. Patel giving it everything he's got in strategical aspect, but I think Jim and Cuba want to do the sensible thing and remain on fresh new tires, 12 or 13 laps before the end of the race, and not risk it too much. So you have a little bit of a gap that you can play with during some fights or whatever. That you're not constantly in the back of your head, okay, if I wreck these tires 3 laps before the end, I might lose 10 seconds then, because I hit the cliff. But trust me, if these tires go, they really go. We said it in you're driving your car like Fred Flynn on freaking stone cold tire. But yeah, Carlos Martin the pits, and so he will drop back. Even gets him out of the top 10 for the already makes clear of him sensible driving from both of them.
He's on Patel on the outside curb there. But that ended. Keeps on going too.
No, Mohammed is. I thought I wouldn't say burned to get a victory, but wrong choice of words, seeing his last. But I thought he was really determined to get a win under his belt this time, taking away of that Renault engine behind of the Twister car. But yeah, so it does. Carlos Martin on the soft tire, obviously, and retro, obviously. Kodak though. So a lot of these drivers on pit stop strategies sharing the pit box, which is good.
We have this
unfortunately not.
Times last year.
Yeah, oh man, sharing a pit box with Bono, behind Bono. So oh, come on, finish. No, it's so demotivating. Standing stationary 3.5 seconds. Peter Briljak into the pit as well. So Jim Paresis will actually lead this race. Good for him.
Yeah, Jim Paresis coming into the pit lane too, so he will not lead.
Oh, there we go. And Brzezinski is going into the pit as well. Brzezinski taking a lot of risk into that entry, but nailed it completely. Brzezinski, last time around with the stints, he decided to go 2 laps on. He doesn't do that this time around, and as he sees Jim Paresis drive away, he still stationary and get his tires fixed, his new tires, obviously. Cuba coming back on track, unsurprisingly in P4, but he is 7 seconds behind Jim, and well, he has 14 laps or 13.5 laps in order to make it good.
And have a look at the gap Mohammed Patel put from Jim Paresis using that undercut. Is Jim Paresis able to recover from that with 14 laps to go, Chris? What do you think?
Yeah,
it's about a 5-second gap.
Yeah, it might be something, but I don't know. Time will have to tell, I guess.
Yeah, that's the right prediction. I think a bit of a battle here with Carlos Martin and Johnny Simon. Side by side into turn 8, Carlos Martin having the better exit, but there's not enough road there, and well, most importantly, turns 9 and 10 is not really an overtaking spot, as Chris have explained before. Martin again right on the back of Johnny Simon, and Carlos Martin should have him here. Johnny Simon going defensive though for turn 11. Carlos Martin is going to have to swing it around the outside. Here we go! Oh, look at that! And he
determination.
No, he doesn't keep it on the track. Kept it on the track, but was stuck in the curb there.
Yeah, that really aggressive from Carlos Martin. Definitely not giving any way in terms of determination there, but just a little bit over opportunistic. Yeah, what the hell? Why? Is he having a drive-through? Uh-oh. Dum. That's really unfortunate for him, and he is now falling prey to Cuba Brzezinski, who's like, "Hey, Patel, you here? I mean, such a surprise to see you." In Dutch we would say, "Dit geeft de burger moed," but it's gonna give Cuba every little bit of strength he has to keep Patel behind him now. That's basically what I said there. He will fight for this podium. There is no threat, real threat behind them, since some of them still need to pit and are fighting their own battles. These guys are just in another league, but Cuba at least gets a present.
Yep, he doesn't need to get a present, just needs to keep it though. It's easier said than done. Patel already having DRS obviously down at Cuba, doesn't go defensive, and why should he go defensive? Patel is too far back at the moment, coming through turn 11. You see there that Patel picks up the dirty air and immediately loses ground to Cuba by about 1 or 2 tenths. And it really is that severe, the dirty air, especially obviously in such a high-speed section. Look how close he is though at the exit of turn 13.
Yeah, he's going full on from this stage. Obviously that's not a nice feeling to have a drive-through penalty. Definitely his own fault, I'm sure. But yeah. Fact is, he has to start behind Cuba again, and at least he got some laps to make it work. 12 laps remaining. Cuba going defensive. Patel trying to make it work from the outside, and they're side by side. They let each other live, and where Cuba left just enough space for Patel in turn 1, Patel did the same in turn 2. So really driving to the maximum those two young talents.
Oh, Patel going for the undercut there on turn 4. Have the inside line, but Cuba will have the momentum going side by side and let each other live. So indeed. And turn 8 now, Patel again having a look, but Cuba knows how to defend here, but Patel will have the undercut yet again.
Oh my god, this is really battling to the max. a Polish guy and a Muslim guy once drove a racing car. And this is the result. I mean, that was severe, off corner by corner. Absolutely severe action there. And Patel still not done here, just taking a look, trying to apply the pressure. But these drivers are really up to the maximum of their capabilities. Giving each other just that little bit of centimeter extra that is needed to make a safe pass through the corner with them both side by side. And this is really what we want to see. And I'm sure we're going to see something else coming to this main straight.
Here we go then. Brzezinski trying to give it his all on the exit of the corner. But again, Patel is quite close behind him. There we go. Switch open that DRS. He presses the DRS button. Brzezinski goes defensive for turn 1. Patel is going to have to go around the outside. He does go around the outside just like previous lap really, and it's the same scenario here, but Kuba sits still around the outside there. But Patel, watch this, he's going to come back, he is not done yet. Kuba going defensive and Patel having him there. Does Patel have him? No, not yet.
It's the defensive driving of Kuba Brzezinski who kept it close to the line, that really diminished the gap that Patel had there, and there wasn't any opportunity from him. So a little bit cheeky, but far from dirty from Cuba. So nice driving from them, and look at caused Marco Conti and Jon-Erik Saxon to have a good shot in. And definitely, you can definitely put your money onto Jon-Erik Saxon. He has been driving so great and opportunistic today. Definitely opportunistic is the right formulation. Patel diving onto the inside on a place where you don't expect it. It forces Cuba to go wide. He touches the curb a little bit, but he's not giving up on this corner. He has the inside here and the inside into turn 14. And this is really driving to the limit. Patel even has the balls to be unpredictable at a in a situation like this. Really, guys, keep it up, keep it up.
Yeah, this is great entertainment for every single spectator, obviously. Don't count Conti out either, and Saxon in the background too, as these guys are still battling, losing obviously a lot of time, but we don't care, we want to see a battle. Kuba Brzezinski again going for the inside line, Patel braking so late, and again going side by side through turn 1. Same scenario as before, but Kuba having to use all of the track on the curb too, and now he's gonna have to come back. Does he do it though? Here we go.
He wants to. I mean, if he loses it right now, he's basically lost the podium right there, because the pressure tires of Patel and the faster pace as well. So really unfortunate for him that Patel has managed to pass him, but great driving from Patel and Cuba as well.
Great driving indeed. It entertained us a lot. And, indeed, as you have mentioned, Patel could pull out a lead right now, but I'm sure Kuba is not someone who gives up easily, as the DRS obviously for this little straight. And have a look at the background as well. This brought the pack a little bit closer. We may see some more battling coming towards the end of the race, but not giving up.
Definitely. And David Greco now onto the soft compound, finally made his way onto Carlos Martin, closed that gap dramatically quick. And he still has 8 more laps to go, or 9 more laps to go. It seems he has 9 more laps to go in order to get a top 5. And I do think it's a possibility. He's only 6 seconds behind Conti, and Conti is still, well, strangled in between a good old Formula Sim racing sandwich here. As Patel has to go defensive, since Cuba hasn't given up yet, and. Cuba, well, if he's brave, which he is, he's gonna dive here. But Patel is covering off. Ooh, Cuba still is going for the inside. But as Patel figured out 2 laps ago, you know, he did the same thing Cuba did right there, and completely legit, obviously.
Mohamed Patel pitted in lap 41. Kuba Brzezinski pitted in lap 44. And Patel is on all the tires, but obviously he made that drive-through penalty. He had that one, but obviously he couldn't switch his tires there. So Patel is on the all tires, and that is a great prospect for us. I mean, bring on more battling. I love it so far.
Definitely, and since they have been battling each other so severely, the other drivers have been able to catch up, but also, with still 8 laps to go in this race, they obviously have asked more life of their tires than the drivers behind them. So that might put things a little bit more balanced, you know, because Patel is just so much faster in terms of pace. He is just having an unlucky race for his standards, in my opinion. Patel going defensive now again, and ooh, on the outside, how he got beaten by Brzezinski. That's how Brzezinski is taking him back right now. Great racing are we seeing here, Jeroen.
Oh yeah, for sure. This Brzezinski wants that place back. That's for sure.
Or I should call you Jeroen.
Retired. Or Kweekel, whatever you want.
Yeah, Kweekel, Jeroen. To make it a little bit sensible for our English viewers.
Exactly.
No, but yeah, it's all okay. It's really a nice amount of action here, except for Peter Briljak, who's well, showing these guys what a true race pace is. In the end, if you count it down, it's, you know, between marks, it's only, you know, so to speak.
Oh, Martin is out.
Carlos Martin is out, has blown his engine to bits, and well, that's not good for him, obviously. Really unfortunate. He did manage a nice classification until then, but yeah, unfortunately the mechanics failed of his engine, and it had its last breath. Not the only guy to have a blown engine. Daniel Brewer on lap 41 also retired with a blown engine.
Yeah, indeed. In the mean, Brzezinski once again is going to have to defend from Mohamed Patel, as these guys are still battling. Entering lap 50 right now. Patel goes around the outside, is quite alongside him as they enter the first corner, but Brzezinski showing that he is really stable on the brakes for turn 1, and once again denied an attack from Mohamed Patel.
Yeah, great driving from the Cuba is going completely to the inside to defend off. But will Patel do the same trick again on the outside? Cuba knows it and really goes a little bit offensive into turn 1.5, basically the exit of turn 1 and in between the entry of turn 2. But yeah, great driving. Yet again, I can't say anything else. I mean, both drivers have respect for each other, and it leaves us to enjoy the fabulous racing we're seeing here.
Now, we've seen a few retirements, but not too many incidents today, Chris. And indeed, it's quite entertaining to see, but obviously great to see as well that there's respect given by all of these drivers. Maybe they are settling more down into the season, and you have explained it perfectly before, where you know other drivers a little bit, you know, and you know how aggressive they are, how you have to treat them. And certainly so far, it's giving us a great battle.
Yeah, definitely so. And I'm really curious to see if the guys behind Brzezinski and Patel are fighting it out as well. I'm over when they're gonna line up. At the moment though, Greco, as we've talked about him earlier, does have a little bit more trouble now to close the gap between him and Bigazzi. But he is going there. He can see the lot in front of him, and if he catches Bigazzi, then it's only 3 seconds until Cuba Brzezinski, although that's a little bit, you know, far-fetched in 6 laps. But, you know, one mistake could send everything tumbling. And to see the team effort, especially the team effort from David Greco this race, would definitely give it to him. However, we have to fight for it. Nothing is given in this racing world. And, well, a good example is Patel and Brzezinski fighting it out to the maximum here. So DRS won't be that effective for Patel, although it is that 1/10 that you gain. So of course you would press it, but not being able to overtake there. Did manage to make a move in there a few laps ago and take Cuba by surprise. Didn't make the move stick. But in no circumstances you can assume that Mohamed won't go for it. It's sensible to wait for the main straight here with the DRS wide open. Both have a great exit. And it's now time for Patel to try once more.
Indeed, will try once more. It seems like the gap in between them is a little bit bigger than it was before, but nonetheless Patel surely is going to try it. We'll have to pick the outside line yet again, it's not going to work. We'll go for the outside, or for the undercut rather. And I cannot really put the power down on the exit there, Chris, and so that leaves him a little bit.
Patel, I mean, trying everything, you know, booby traps and dummies, throwing it all out on the track, but yeah, nothing seems to crack Kuba Brzezinski. And great to see so many people drive. So much struggle is being well, created by this last podium spot. Obviously, it would be nice to see a non-twister racer again on the podium, and Cuba would be a perfect fit for that, actually.
He has been very strong over the course of this season so far. You've mentioned doing an exceptional job and winning a lot of races since his debut. He actually won straight away in his debut. I think it was in the USA. So it shows that this guy is really strong, and this year in WC.
Did we start in the USA last year?
I think he made his debut at Indianapolis.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, good old Indianapolis. Horrible track. Horrible. Yeah, but come on. But I mean that's relative. I mean it's horrible. There's the Indy 500 by the way this weekend, is there?
Yep. Yeah.
Or is it already busy?
I have no idea. I'm sure they were racing there.
Racing, they're just going to the left with 400 kilometers an hour, really brainless. But it takes a lot of gut to do it. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be able to do it in a million years. But yeah, you know, there's the art of going around the Tielke circuit, and there's that in a circle. And well, we are here because we prefer the battling that's going on with Paris and Cuba, and the multiple lines that Mohammed is definitely exploiting. I mean, in picking his moments. He basically got an attempt in on almost each part of the track except this corner right now.
Yes, but does Patel at the moment struggle a little bit more with his older tires? That's the question, as Kuba is able to pull away from him a little bit. So Patel might be feeling that that his tires are going slightly off. It's not down to Kuba's time. They are still very consistent. So Kuba is not.
If only he didn't have that stop and go that drives.
Yeah.
If only. So easy to say afterwards, but.
But Chris, if you had 200 more horsepower, you'd probably be in this race as well.
If I had what horsepower?
If you had 200 more horsepower than the rest of the field.
Yeah. Come on, but
maybe you would win. Hey.
I'm not a Stoffel van Doorn with the cheats, man. Come on.
Okay, I won't say anything to that.
Well, no, I mean, Stoffel van Doorn did that basically to get good setups, and then that's why, like I said in Pro, it came to mind in Pro as well. Well, you know, even if your name is Stoffel van Doorn, you can still get perma-banned on an online racing forum. No groupies here, just professionalism all the way to the max. And like we said, the links of Formula Sim Racing, it's all free to download, and you can have a shot in. If you think, who is this Peter Brilliard guy, that noob, I can beat him easily. Download the mod and be fairly surprised how hard this is. Really hard, and what an exceptional job Twister is doing, and Peter Brilliard specifically Peter Brilliard. But yeah, just click on the links in the subscription after the race and have yourself a go with the mod and see what is what. For now though, 3 laps, or actually 2.5 laps to go, and it does seem to be a Twister party with a certain Polish guy onto the podium.
Yeah, it does look like it at the moment. Patel half a second behind, but he doesn't manage to apply the same amount of pressure he has done before. But let's not count him out too early. There are still a few laps to go, and everything can still happen. Slight mistake from Kuba, and it can all open up again. Although Kuba is not the kind of driver who makes a mistake easily.
Let's give Mohammed some time. There's still 1 lap to go until his engine blows. So. No, joking, Patel. He can end it. I talk sometimes with him, but no, that's a little bit mean maybe. I was really hoping for him to win this race actually after what happened 3 weeks ago, but you know, all water under the bridge. It's all done and dealt with, I suppose. But yeah, Patel was actually the guy who said that Brilliard was likely to win, and well, he is not wrong about that, it seems. 3 weeks ago, Jim Paresis was driving in second place as well, though. So I don't know. I do hope that Brzezinski will take the podium away from Patel, though, because you know it's all to do with a mistake in terms of pit limiter, I suppose, from Patel. I don't know where you would get a penalty from otherwise. So yeah, it takes a mistake for the podium to be shaken up a bit. You know, that's not necessarily a bad thing because Cuba is definitely a driver that deserves it.
The final lap of the race though for Peter Briljak. It's going through the first sector, and his times as well, they are well rather consistent, and so far nobody is able, at least in this race, nobody was able to challenge him. One more time Kuba, Brzezinski and Patel come across the line though.
Yeah.
And Patel again too far back, question mark. Patel tries it, brakes very late as well.
They're giving it everything he had. Ooh, Patel, what are you doing? Are you surprising us? And Cuba in particular, he is not, but he is definitely trying. I don't know where he found the life in his tires, or the second life, or even the 50th life or whatever, but that's really remarkable from him to get a shot in over that distance.
He does really try that, the inside line for turn 2, but exactly as we have said before, knows what he's doing.
Peter Briljak is almost crossing the start-finish line. We're gonna have an advert of 2 minutes and then we take the finish of Jim Paresis. No, not 2 minutes, but it is 22 seconds. Remarkable job from Twister Racing, but specifically for Peter Briljak. Takes it home. Peter Briljak, the winner of round 4 in Bahrain. And what a victory it has been. And hats off for this guy. And look, happiness with it. Drifting alongside, and Jim Paresis taking the car home as well, cruising on home, and behind that it's still Cuba Brzezinski, who cannot slack off any little bit because Mohammed still tries to find it the last meter of the race. Jim Paresis takes it home in second place. Last corner for for Cuba Brzezinski and Patel, and Cuba Brzezinski takes the best of them. Great job from them both, and look at the happiness he shares with us.
In the background, Marco Conti, John Saxon and Bigazzi also finished. David Greco now comes down the start-finish straight with a 2-stop to take home 8th place. Di Loretto behind. Same for Johnny Simon and Journey Simoncic. And that is our top 10 rounded off. But great win for Peter Briljak today.
And really hats off for a lot of these drivers. Remarkable drive from Greco with a 2-stop. Really obnoxious actually, and really successful as well from back of the grid. And look at the shot, all the drivers, almost all the drivers in one shot here, the front runners that is. And I think Cuba Brzezinski is actually happier than Peter is.
Oh, look at Disley. Disley let Kodak by. Disley
is... Oh, come on Disley, come on Disley, one more, you can do it, Disley, come on, yeah! Kodak he even reversed to push him over the line if necessary. Oh man, that he's even giving him a push right now. Oh my god, that's humor right there. A little bit of a love tap from Marek Kodak to Disley, but what a race it has been. So yeah, running out of fuel on the finish line, Disley is. And well, what a fantastic race it has been. The top 3, well, it is there on your screen, and well deserved from any of them. And nice to see Brzezinski as clinching the podium, as Marek Kodak gives more love taps to to Blair Disley. It's awesome.
So Peter Briljak taking the race here, or the race victory for Twister Racing, followed by Jim Paresis. It's again a Twister 1-2, but we see Kuba Brzezinski, Polish driver, there in 3rd place, rounding up our podium. Johnny Simon in the end was 10th, and Journey Simoncic 11th. Those guys have dropped off significantly from where they have started. but David Greco being one of the winners, I would say. Same for Conti and John Eric Saxon, who made it up to P5 and 6. Those are really the guys who came from a little bit further back, but obviously David Greco, well, quite impressive with that 2-stop strategy, and managed to make it work relatively well too, you know, finishing in P8, not bad.
No, definitely, and a lot of points for a lot of these drivers, even Johnny Simon taking P10, is it? So nice for him as well. Great shout out for the winners, and we're treated to a really nice race today, weren't we all?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the best races of the season so far, but that also comes down to the respect most drivers have given in a lot of battles, where we have seen battles ending up in incidents. You know, it was a lot better right here. They let each other live, and that created some exciting racing for sure, as you have said.
And in 2 weeks' time, I believe, we are in Canada with a digital Formula SimRacing circuit, so not really getting any shipping costs there. No, but yeah, Canada would definitely be a challenging circuit, and we all urge you to come back in Canada in 2 weeks' time. For now, though, it has been a really nice racing day. The weekend is over after 3 races, but what a treat it has been. Saving the best for last as well, has to be said. For now, though, thanks for watching. Have a great Sunday evening. With the commentary booth. It's Sam Jones on the cameras, by the way. Thanks for that, Sam. Jeroen Kweekel next to me, and I'm next to him. And have a lovely end of the weekend. Have a great day. Bye bye.